This line absolutely killed me when the whole topic of like what part of Sharon is chaste, and I'm like, if that isn't one of the best questions you could probably ask about a sexy nun who's kicking people's asses and very much is quite provocative, I mean, that is without a doubt one of the funniest lines, if not the funniest lines for me in this anime to date. And it's interesting, right? Because when you look at Shu's exes and the kind of current relationship he has with this demon Kisara, what it looks like from the ex's point of view is a pretty shitty person. I mean, initially, the first few episodes of the show, I mean, looking at it from Ayano's perspective, dude up and leaves a healthy relationship for a demon that sucks away his memories, and he just kind of feels like he's a constantly forgetting asshole who doesn't remember or care about anything. Of course, we learn that the memories are being pushed over to this demon, and he literally can't remember shit about what he used to have. So when you look at it from this other girl's perspective, you know, their whole mission was to capture this demon. They do so, and in the middle of sex, he poisons through penetration, ups and leaves with said demon, and just, from their point of view, uses anyone to get to what he wants. And while that's not necessarily incorrect, it's interesting how the only one who has a 100% grasp of any part of the situation is Kisara. Shu himself is convinced, like, this crazy bitch, I've never met her in my life. I honestly have no idea why she's here. And, you know, you'll get these moments where he'll catch himself and he'll know something about someone and he'll be like, wait a minute, why do I know that? Because he literally has no knowledge of the situation. But for a man who just wanted to save his sister and, you know, figure out what really happened with his family and potentially clear up that misunderstanding, it's tragic, if not painted in a kind of funny way, especially in the last couple of episodes. But it's crazy how Kisara is literally the only one who actually knows what's going on. And the fact that she's perfectly okay with it more often than not. Yeah, she had the breakdown, but ultimately, because he said, you know, if it wasn't you, I wouldn't be kissing you. Ultimately, the reason he picked that demon was to do his mission. It's not impossible that he's actually developed feelings for Kisara, given that he has no memories of his previous relationships, really. So the only thing that's left, and the thing she'll take the last from, is without a doubt the memories of her. So it's not surprising that his love is currently fixated on a demon who's going to take the memories of herself dead last. She'll take every memory of every ex or every situation that doesn't involve her. And the fact of the matter is, it's this very toxic relationship, all things considered, but it's presented in a way that doesn't feel quite as toxic, right? You have this almost like emotionally manipulative person who doesn't like fill you into everything that you need to know, but it's a mutual agreement of how it started. So it's a conflicting ideal where like you don't hate Kisara, or at least I know that's how I feel, but it's such a, when you take a step back and you look at the grand picture of what his life is, it really feels like a demon. And usually when you have like some cute anime demon who's going to, you know, quote unquote remove your memories, you think, yeah, whatever, it's not going to feel demonic because she's a cute anime girl, and therefore cute anime girls equal selling of the figures equal profits. But instead, Engage Kiss is actually making Kisara feel like a demon. Not just with how she looks from time to time, but her actions and what she'll say very much come across as demonic, which if you honestly take the average anime that has any sort of demonic activity, they don't really feel demonic if they're on the hero side, so to speak, right? Because it's a demon girl, we're going to make them a part of the harem. But here it actually feels like something that's unhealthy that he needs to be ripped away from before he's literally dead, because she very much will suck the living life out of this man. And it's crazy, right? Because this show doesn't hide the fact that it has mature content. Like, the man has exes, he's had sex with those exes, and literally the main way his memories get dreamed, like in the succubus way, is through kissing. And I know there has been some people who said, like, damn, this man has a lot of exes, but when you really look at it, there's only 3 girls in this show. 3 exes or 3 relationships, not a lot. It's just because we're not used to seeing that many in anime where he's actually done something, not just, you know, ooh, they held hands at the school or behind the school or something and their parents found out. No, this dude got laid. We're not denying that fact. So it's nice to see that they don't sugarcoat a lot of it. And when it gets into the more like intense moments, like you see blood, you see characters get stabbed through the chest or, you know, literally beaten to near death. And I thought they were baiting us because the beginning of the episode, she just ups and leaves. I was like, damn, man, like I thought we were going to see a cool ass fight. Didn't even cross my mind that she would go get demonic armor that would strip her down butt-ass naked, and she would launch turrets and literally nearly kill Kisara. Like you knew she wouldn't actually die there. There was going to be a kiss to power her up, but it was actually crazy to see how a human, all things considered, could push a demon to that point. And I mean, if you watch after the credits, they talk about the reason she's there, as Shu kind of teased before the credits, like based on what he remembered of her before catching himself being like, wait, why do I know that? Is that even if she had like a personal vendetta against someone like Kisara or himself, she puts her missions above all else. So the only reason she would also attack them is because she was already there for a reason, and apparently there's a demonic threat that they won't be able to deal with, and she's perfectly fine destroying the city in order to protect the rest of the world. Pretty crazy threat, all things considered, and I don't think this is going to be the last time we see the match of Kisara versus Sharon, but I'm excited to see what they do, because this was a visually fun episode. Essentially, she basically had a tentacle monster and a Gatling gun. That's kind of how it felt. She was walking like Dr. Octopus at times, and then at other times it felt like she was ripped from the Terminator, and I was like, holy shit, this girl is literally blasting fools left and right while just rubbing salt into the wounds of Kisara, and it was pretty badass. I thought it was beautifully animated, it was pretty clever, and this is something I've complimented with Engage Kiss, is the demonic fights always feel different. You can look at like the phasing through the mirrors, you can look at this, which is like demonic armor, which was really cool, to the number of smaller fights we've seen, whether it's a giant moth-like butterfly and everything else in between. This show is creative with its action, and the fact that there's almost always something exciting action-wise in an episode, even if it's not necessarily an 8-minute fight, there's always something to keep the adrenaline pumping while also progressing the relationships. And usually when you introduce yet again another girl to make it more complicated, you would say, here we go again, right? But honestly, the way his connections work, from what seemed to be a very healthy relationship with Aino to this business/romantic relationship where they were hunting demons, he ended up betraying her so he could use a demon to find his family and everything like that, to now this very unhealthy relationship of being killed by this demon for your goals, who very much is in love with you, and by stripping all your memories away, essentially is making you fall in love with her because you're the only one you'll fully remember when it comes to, well, all the girls in his life. And it's crazy, man. I wouldn't even be opposed if they introduce another girl at this point just to see what they could introduce. But all things considered, this show turned out way better than I ever thought possible. And I definitely am liking it the longer it progresses, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take it in the next couple of episodes, especially with a cliffhanger like the way of like, hey, we'll destroy your city to defeat this monster. I mean, how many memories is this man going to have to give up just to keep the city safe, let alone continue with his sister? They definitely teased like what could have happened potentially already, or that could just be a dream of what's yet to come. We don't know, but it looked like when she pulled the spear or whatever was stabbing the sister, they disintegrated. So I'm not sure if that's a sign of what's to come or something that's already happened. Is the sister trapped somewhere inside this demon? We don't know, right? There's a lot of questions, but the answers are going to be fun to explore whenever we do get them. But thoughts down below. Pretty crazy episode, action-packed, a little horny, but goddamn, it can be emotional in the ways you don't really quite expect. So thoughts and theories down below if you got any. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.